Hi, my name's Kevin Anderson. I always tell my kids, if you want to know something, do it yourself. See how it works out, then you'll know personally what the right answer is. I see a lot of debate on Facebook, the internet, every week things are popping up about the Arctic versus the Yeti. Now, a couple of years ago, I got a Yeti 65 for my birthday. Great cooler, I've used it a lot. I recently purchased this Arctic 65, which I have not used yet. But a little later, we're going to put it to the test. We're going to put the same amount of ice. Let you decide. And let me reiterate, I do not work for Yeti. I do not work for Arctic. We're just going to do a side-by-side comparison with no bias.
Hi, my name is Ian Anderson. I'm Kevin's son, and I will be assisting him today with comparing the RTIC 65 and the Yeti 65. As my dad said earlier, it was very uncomfortable to sit in the middle of these. And that's because, if you can see as I slide my hand, I hit a lip on the Arctic cooler. That's because the Arctic, the height of it is 1 1/8 inch higher than the Yeti. Now, the depth of the Arctic is also 1 inch longer than the Yeti as well. And even the width is 1 3/4 of an inch longer than the Yeti. And they're advertised to both be 65, the Arctic 65 and the Yeti 65, but their measurements are not the same at all. And it's actually kind of funny because the Yeti only holds 61 quarts, while the Arctic, as advertised, holds 65.
Kevin Anderson here again, and as you saw, Ian went over a lot of the differences, and there's definitely some differences. Even though this is an Arctic 65 and a Yeti 65, the Arctic may have an unfair advantage being a little bit bigger. Now, as you look at the tops, they look the same. Now, another big difference, empty, the Yeti weighs 27 pounds. The Arctic weighs 36 pounds. So the question is, how much more insulation does the Arctic have, if any? I don't know. I'm definitely not going to cut it open, but I definitely have a theory that that's going to have a little bit more of an advantage. Now, I don't know what's going on with Yeti and Arctic. I hear Yeti suing them. I can actually see why. The handles look identical. The front, there's a notch here. They're identical. They put their name identical. The only difference in the front is the physical indenture right here. And as you open them up, basically look the same. The lock holes are in the same place. The names are in the same place. The drain hole is actually in the same place. The Yeti has a little sticker here that says 65, and then the Arctic actually has it made into the cooler right here, 65. Handles look the same. These coolers are pretty much identical. Now, one thing Arctic did that I really like, when you close these, this is flush, which some people may like. Arctic actually made a little lip here. So if I come straight up, you almost have to grab these handles to open it. Here, I come straight up, there's a lip, which I personally like. Now, last thing, Yetis are readily available. You can pretty much almost go anywhere and buy them. You're going to get it that day. They have them in stock. The Arctic, unlike Amazon that I use a lot, when you pay for an Arctic, you're going to pay at the time you ordered. I ordered this one myself January 27th. A lot of my friends made a joke. Oh, it's never going to ship. Oh, they're going to get sued and you're going to lose your money, because I paid up front. May 9th, I got an email that it shipped. So ordered January 27th, shipped May 9th. Showed up 2 days later. I've already taken it out of the box. It was packed great, in a great box. It was banded. Can't complain about that at all. So that's the only issue. If you want an Arctic right now, not going to happen. If you want a Yeti, but the Arctic is $199. This Yeti 65 is $399. So definitely a big difference. Now, Ian and I are about to go to the most important part. Both of these have been in our house for a week. There's no advantage to one or the other. This one is a couple of years old. I don't see why that would be a disadvantage. You would think it would hold up for a couple of years. This one obviously just arrived in May. We're going to open these, same time. We're going to get 2 bags of ice in each, put them in here, same time. and then we're going to close them, and we're going to open them probably on hour intervals to see what's going on. We're not going to move them. They will only be open once at the same time. When they open, you'll see it. And like I said initially, the best way to do things is do it yourself. We're doing this test. We don't work for RTIC. We don't work for Yeti. I have no bias whatsoever. And after we do this test, we'll know exactly which one is number one. Kevin and Ian Anderson here. We're actually now at the part which is the most important. We have 4 bags of ice. They all have been broken up. As we mentioned earlier, we don't want any unfair advantage. You know, one coming in as a full block of ice versus one broken up. 10 pounds, 10 pounds, 10 pounds, 10 pounds, all bought at the same place. We're going to put 2 in here, 2 in here. We're going to start the timer right here, and then occasionally we will open it. I think we've made it as fair as possible. I'm not sure what else we could do, so now we're going to pour the ice in, and we'll have to move the camera one time up. So you'll see a blink. We're going to move it up here a little closer. My family will be walking around here, so I don't want to knock it down. I think that's it. Anything else, Ian? Okay, let's put it in. Open it up. First bag. Second bag. We're going to level the ice out in both coolers. Yep. 1 or 2 chunks. We're going to lock it down. Last thing, Ian, make sure the plug is tight. I'll make sure the plug is tight on this one. This one's tight.
It's tight.
Okay, let's move it back. We're going to start the timer. We'll know soon enough. Okay, we've yet to open our coolers. We're at, the iPad back here is keeping the timer. Hopefully you can see that. We're at 16 hours. We actually agreed to wait 16 hours for the first time for the Yeti. Ice, still intact, a little bit of water. But the majority of it is still ice. The RTIC, now remember we are inside. Hard to tell at the moment. Almost seems like an even race. We're at 16 hours. Seem to be about even. We're not going to open it again to at least 24 hours. So we're back. The timer right now is at 24 hours and 27 minutes. We're about to open this for the second time. The RTIC 65. Still more ice than water. Make sure we seal it back. The Yeti 65. Still more ice than water. I'm going to seal it back. Now, right now we're at 24 hours and 28 minutes. In about 5 more hours, we're going to open it a third time. After we close it, we're going to move both of these into the garage. We want to speed this process up. Because right now, we're literally a day later, and there's still a lot more ice in there than water. That way we can also kind of see it in a cooler environment. Then we can see it in the garage, and the garage is much, much warmer than inside here. Well, we got in late last night, so we didn't move it into the garage, where we currently are at 43 hours and 23 minutes, so we're going to check it again. The Yeti. I'd say over half of it's melted. Still ice. The RTIC. I'd say over half of it's melted. Now, a couple of factors, but it really shouldn't matter in the big picture of things. Has been inside, it's been in a cooler environment. We haven't opened it that much, but we've kept them consistent. If one was open, the other one was open. So right now we're at 43 hours and 24 minutes, still going strong, still have probably 40% ice in both. We'll probably open it again after 50 hours. Okay, as you saw on the timer, we're at 50 hours. Ian and I are going to open them at the same time. We're going to tilt them forward where you can see it. Then we're going to immediately take it into the garage and start checking it every hour. We're approaching over 50 hours now, so 2+ days, so we figured we would turn the heat up. The garage is substantially warmer than inside the house. There you go, still ice in both. We're going to close them up and we're going to take them outside in the garage. As we just mentioned, we just passed 50 hours. We've moved the camera, the RTIC 65 and the Yeti 65 into the garage. It's not an extremely warm day, but it's definitely warmer in the garage. So we're trying to speed up the process. Obviously, it's been 50 hours. We'll start checking it every hour, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, we just passed 67 hours. It's been in the garage. The garage is not too hot. Last couple of weeks we've had a lot of rain, so it hasn't been too hot in Texas. Yeti still probably has about 10 to 15% of the ice. Once again, we just passed 67 hours. Come over here to the RTIC 65. I'll be very curious to see which one has the ice the longest. Right now, they're kind of running a dead heat. We just passed 71 hours. And we kept everything equal. Like I said, if you keep it outside longer, it would shorten it, or if you kept it inside, it would, definitely make the process longer. I think we're going to call it. Like I said, we're just over 71 hours. Once again, the RTIC 65 versus the Yeti 65. We've kept everything the same. If we've opened one, we've opened both. If we moved them, we moved them at the same time. So we're going to open up the Yeti. I will show you inside. You can't hear any ice shake. I am going to get all the ice. That is all the ice left in the Yeti. RTIC 65. Water's definitely still cold. Kevin Anderson here. We're officially calling the contest at 71 hours and 26 minutes. The Yeti 65 versus the RTIC 65. We called it because the Yeti basically, as you saw on the camera, had maybe just enough ice to put in a handful. The RTIC 65 had over 3 cups left. Now you may say, well, hey, that's not a lot considering 70 hours. But the RTIC definitely had 3 to 4 times the ice left over. The water was still cold in both, but the RTIC definitely outlasted. Now I'm a big Yeti supporter. I've had that cooler, I've used it a lot, but the big difference, and I'll say going forward, I probably will not be buying any more Yetis. I will definitely buy an RTIC. Like I said, I don't work for either one of them. I'm not getting endorsed by either company, but the RTIC 65 definitely lasted longer, had more ice at the end of the test, and the big one that really solidifies the deal, $3.99. RTIC 65, $1.99. Now, being a little bit bigger, I'm sure that may have helped, but in the big picture of things, they're pretty close in size. So there you have it. We did our own test. Clear-cut winner, RTIC 65. Feel free to put any comments or any questions, but I appreciate your time.
I'm Ian Anderson. Hello! I forgot to say hello! And then, darn, I said hi. Ah!
Yes, clear-cut winner, RTIC 65.
Hi, my name is Ian Anderson. I am son of Kevin. I am son of Kevin. What is this? Lord of the Rings? I'm so bad at this.